Good morning. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. Yesterday I said I was reading from The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles, and he tells us that an individual gets rich by doing things in a certain way. If you want to be rich in finances, or rich in relationships, or rich in health and vitality, rich in any area of your life, you must become able to think in a certain way. Your way of doing things is the direct result of the way you think about things. So let's think about that. Your way of doing things, which you think is the right way or the only way or the way it should be or the way it must be, your way of doing things is the direct result of the way you think about things. We are causing results, outcomes, effects in our life all the time through our thinking, and our actions. When you start thinking about something, it causes you to feel a certain way, and that thinking and feeling causes you to take actions. Your actions lead to a reaction in the universe. Your actions cause a reaction from other people. Your actions create. If you don't like what you've created, if you don't like what's going on around you, if there's something that you would prefer, something you want to change, it doesn't start from changing behavior, although that's part of it. It starts with, what are you thinking about? If you don't like the results in your life, what are you doing to cause the outcome, the results, the thing that has been created that you don't want anymore? Maybe it served you at one time, but you want something better now. Wallace Wattles says to do things in a certain way you want to do them, you will have to acquire the ability to think the way you want to think. This is the first step toward getting rich. To think what you want to think is to think truth, regardless of appearances. What does that mean? You can look at what's going on around you and decide that it's bad, it's horrible, it's wrong, it's different, it's not what you want. And you can fear it or have anxiety pop up. You can worry and doubt. You can look at it and say, well, this is reality. I hate those people. I am sick and tired of this condition. I don't want to be poor anymore. I want something better. As you get excited and depressed and anxious and worried, you actually create more problems. I'm not talking about sitting back and letting people walk all over you, but I'm talking about not focusing so much on what's going wrong, but spending some time in silence, spending some time going inside your deepest desires. What would you prefer? What do you desire? Have you ever noticed when you have a really deep desire for something, you're going to make it happen no matter what? And you run into problems. There are doors that close. There are things that happen to delay what you want, but it doesn't stop you. Or if it has stopped you in the past, know that those were just temporary roadblocks, maybe a redirection from the universe, that wasn't meant for you. You're meant for something better, something more. Look at the things that have seemed to be walls, brick walls, doors closing, opportunities missed. They were not meant for you. You were meant for something more. You can think whatever you want to think. Wallace Waddle says you have the natural and inherent power to think what you want to think, but it requires far more effort to do so than it does to think the thoughts which are suggested by appearances. To look around and see things and think according to what's already here, that's easy. To think truth, regardless of appearances, is laborious. It requires the expenditure of more power than any other work you have to perform. If you've ever done some major labor jobs and you know how challenging that is, you know how physically exhausting you can become if you do hard labor. Wallace Waddle says, there is no labor from which most people shrink as they do from that of sustained and consecutive thought. It is the hardest work in the world. And it is especially true when it's contrary to appearances. Every appearance in the visible world tends to produce a corresponding form in the mind which observes it. This can only be prevented by holding the thought of the truth. It requires power to think health when surrounded by the appearances of disease. It requires power to think financial riches when you're in the midst of the appearances of poverty. When you acquire this, when you practice this, you become master of your destiny. You become a mastermind. You can conquer fate and you can have all that you want. This power can only be acquired by getting hold of the basic fact which is behind all appearances, that there is one thinking substance from which and by which all things are made. Then we must grasp the truth that every thought held in this substance becomes a form, and that a person can impress thoughts upon it so as to cause them to take form and become visible things. When we realize this, we lose all doubt and fear because we know that we can create what we want to create. We can get what we want to have and we can become what we want to be. As a first step toward getting rich, we must believe the fundamental statements that Wallace Waddles gave us. There is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which in its original state permeates, penetrates, and fills the interspaces of the universe. A thought in this substance produces the thing that is imaged by the thought. You can form things in your thought, and by impressing thought upon formless substance, can cause the thing you think about to be created. Now, it sounds easy and effortless, doesn't it? The first step is to decide what you really want and to not allow current circumstances to prove to you that it can't happen. Don't allow naysayers to tell you that it's impossible. You have a logical mind, a reasoning, thinking mind. And in your conscious, educated thinking mind is where you start to design a picture of what do you really want. And it doesn't matter what it is. But if you're thinking, I want $1 million, or I want to 10 times my income, or I want $350,000, or I want $1 billion, it's not about the money. The money won't get you excited. You don't fall in love with money. We must love people and use money, not the other way around. People who love money and use people are miserable. They might become financially wealthy, but they never find true love and happiness. Their health might suffer because of just going after money. Money is useful in purchasing clothing and food and shelter. Money is necessary if you want to have a secure home, whether you're renting or purchased. Money is a medium of exchange. It's not bad, it's not evil. It's necessary until we change the way we exchange goods and services. Bob Proctor would say we don't go to work to earn money, we go to work for purpose, for pleasure. You should have money working for you. People have written books or programs or movies or designed a way of doing things like blueprints, like computer programs, like applications on the computer or on the cell phone. They've made billions of dollars. Money is flowing into their bank account from the invisible, infinite source of supply. Have you ever bought anything through an online catalog or Amazon or Etsy? You press a couple of buttons, the money is taken out of your bank account and put in the other person's account. You don't physically exchange coins, but it's the same thing. If you don't have enough, you start to feel bad. You look for maybe ways and means to create more, but it doesn't come from working harder. It comes from changing your idea about wealth. So many people have grown up believing that wealthy people are evil, bad, greedy, and that's not true. Some of the wealthiest people in the world are doing the greatest good, bringing about changes in the education system, in the health system, in the transportation system, in the way business is done. Money is not good or bad. Money is necessary for you to have not only the basic necessities of food and shelter and clothing, but whatever you want. But it can come easily when you believe that it's easy to attract. That means not being resentful of someone who has more wealth than you, not looking at wealthy people as greedy, but just knowing that it just is. There are lots of rich people who are miserable, and there are lots of poor people who are happy, but there are lots of wealthy people who love their lives. And there are lots of poor people who are happy and healthy and content. How much more could you do for your loved ones if you had more resources? This isn't about what you can get. It's about increasing life for all. The universe is meant for all. Wallace Wattles talks about increasing life. He says, you must want real life, not mere pleasure or sensual gratification. Life is a performance of function, and the individual really lives only when he performs without excess of every function, not excess physical, mental, and spiritual, but everything that you are capable of. You don't want to get rich in order to live swinishly for the gratification of animalistic desires. That's not life. But the performance of every physical function is a part of life, and no one lives completely who denies the impulses of the body a normal and healthful expression. You want to be healthy, physically fit. You do not want to get rich solely to enjoy mental pleasures, to get knowledge, to gratify ambition, to outshine others, or to be famous. All of these are legitimate parts of life. However, the person who only lives for the pleasures of the intellect alone will only have a partial life. He will never be satisfied with his lot. Wallace Wattles suggests you do not want to get rich solely for the good of others, nor do you wish to lose yourself for the salvation of humanity, or to only experience the joys of philanthropy and sacrifice. The joys of the soul are only a part of life. They are no better or more noble than any other part. You want to get rich so you can eat, drink, and be merry when it is time to do these things. You want to be rich so that you may surround yourself with beautiful things, see distant lands, feed your mind, and develop your intellect. You want to be rich so that you may love people, do kind things, and be able to play a good part in helping the world to find truth. But remember that extreme altruism is no better and no nobler than extreme selfishness. Both are mistakes. Get rid of the idea that God wants you to sacrifice yourself for others, that you can secure his favor by doing so. God requires nothing of the kind. What God wants is that you should make the most of yourself for yourself and for others. And you can help others more by making the most of yourself than in any other way. You can make the most of yourself only by getting rich. Thus, it is right and praiseworthy that you should give your first and best thought to the work of acquiring wealth. Remember, however, that the desire of substance is for all. Its movements must be for more life to all. It cannot be made to work for less life to any, because it is seeking riches and life in everything and everyone. The intelligent substance will make things for you, but it will not take things away from someone else and give them to you. Wallace Wattles says, in order to know more, to do more, and to be more, We must have more. We must have things to use because we learn and do and become only by using things. We must get rich so that we can live more. The desire for riches is simply the capacity for larger life seeking fulfillment. Every desire is the effort of an unexpressed possibility to come into action. It is power seeking to manifest that which causes desire. That which makes you want more money is the same as that which makes the plant grow. It is life seeking fuller expression. The one living substance must be subject to this law for all of life. It is permeated with the desire to live more. That is why it is under the necessity of creating things, because this infinite divine substance desires to live more in you. It wants you to have all the things you can use. It is the desire of God that you should get rich. He wants you to get rich because he can express himself better through you if you have plenty of things to use in giving him expression. He can live more in you if you have unlimited command of the things of life. The universe desires you to have everything you want to have. Nature is friendly to your plans. Everything is naturally for you. Make up your mind that this is true. It is essential, however, that your purpose should harmonize with the purpose that is in everything. You must get rid of the thought of competition. You are here to create, not to compete for what is already created. You do not have to take anything away from anyone. You do not have to drive sharp bargains. You do not have to cheat or take advantage. You do not need to let any person work for you for less than he earns. You do not have to covet the property of others or look at it with wishful eyes. No one has anything of which you cannot have the same, and you can have it without taking what he has away from him. You have been endowed with higher mental faculties, and you will become a creator by employing your higher faculties: perception, reason, will, memory, imagination, and intuition. No other form of life was given these creative faculties. You are going to get what you want, but in such a way that when you get it, every other person will have more than he has now. Wallace Waddell says, the first step toward getting rich is to convey the idea of your wants to the formless substance. In order to do so, it becomes necessary to relate yourself to the formless substance in a harmonious way. To secure this harmonious relationship is a matter of such primary and vital importance that I will give some space to its discussion here. I will give you instructions which, if you follow them, will be certain to bring you into perfect unity of mind with God. The whole process of mental adjustment and attunement can be summed up in one word: gratitude. First, you believe that there is one intelligent substance from which all things proceed. Secondly, you believe that this substance gives you everything you desire. And thirdly, you relate yourself to it through a feeling of deep and profound gratitude. Many people who order their lives rightly in all other ways are kept in poverty by their lack of gratitude. Having received one gift from God, they cut the wires which connect them with Him by failing to make acknowledgement. It is easy to understand that the nearer we live to the source of wealth, the more wealth we shall receive. It is also easy to understand that a soul that is always grateful lives in closer touch with God than one who never looks to Him in thankful acknowledgement. When good things come to us, the more gratefully we fix our mind on the supreme power, the more good things we will receive, and the more rapidly they will come. The reason for this is simply that the mental attitude of gratitude draws the mind into closer touch with the source from which the blessings come. Take the time every morning to write down 10 things that you are grateful for. Maybe you're grateful for your 5 senses. You can see, smell, taste, touch, and hear. Be grateful that you also have 6 intellectual faculties that were gifted to you as a human being above all other forms of life. And to show your gratitude and appreciation, develop those 6 mental faculties, including paying attention to your intuition and developing your beautiful gift of imagination. What would it feel like? Give thanks for how you will feel, what you will have, who you will become once your beautiful desire is fulfilled. Write out what that looks like. What vision do you have? What deep desire do you hold in your heart? It is waiting for you to get into harmonious vibration, to believe that it is yours. You don't have to take it from someone else. It is gifted to you. You may have to work for it. You may have to make room in your life for it. But whatever you desire, you wouldn't have the desire unless it was meant for you. There is a science of getting rich, and it is imperative that you feel grateful for already having it. And everything that you want comes to you at the right time, when you are ready for it. Get your mind, your heart, and your actions in alignment with your deep desire, and watch how fast it comes. Create a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. If you're listening to this on YouTube, please consider liking, subscribing, and joining me live at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you. Create a wonderful day. See you back here tomorrow morning at 7.